Welcome to the class. We have covered so far about Laravel, several aspects of Laravel. So in this class, we will be going back to our common normal syllabus. We have been covering several Laravel sessions about what basically can be done to the data. We have seen cases where data exists on the database, and when we are displaying the data, we could change the output in the way we want in the views. Now in this class, we are going to have a more deeper look into functions and triggers, especially triggers. Last classes, when we were having our classes in the classroom, we had gone through the triggers, and in your assignment itself there is several sections where you have to answer for the triggers. So I have this database here that we have been using in the classroom, and the architecture is like this. We have products which belong to the vendors, and these products are bought by customers who will be given invoices, and we have representation of each record of each sale using a record called line. So every line on the invoice belongs to a specific product purchase, and that is because there is a many-to-many relationship, and that's why this table comes up here. You would understand that. So this has been created as a database here. You can see here we have a customer table, we have an employee table, invoice table, line table, and a product, and also a vendor page. In fact, if you remember in the Laravel classes, when we were going through line, for example, adding purchases, basically we were adding lines because every purchase is a new line that some customer is buying something. So we are generating an invoice, and in the invoice we have many lines. Each line belongs to a specific product. Therefore, let's try to cover more about functions and triggers. So look at the structure of the product table. If you look at the product table in this case, we have products that belong to certain vendors, and some of the products have these values called P minimum. So P minimum is basically a column that says the minimum number of items that we must always have in stock. So depending on your sales and demand, you would actually edit these things. What we would like to create is, we would like to use some examples where we could actually automatically handle some of these things. So one such example is, if the product quantity on hand, or P underscore QOH, goes below or to the same level as, or X number of items close to the minimum number of items that we should have, we could initiate a reorder, for example. We could automatically initiate an order, or we could flag it at least. This is an example scenario where we would need a trigger. Another example we could actually use is, you can see here we have products that we are selling, and these products end up in the invoice table. So if you look at the invoice table, you can see here these are the invoice. So this customer has this invoice, bought these items on that date. Now look at the line table, meaning purchases that the customer has made. You can see here, for example, look at this item 11QER31. So that item doesn't appear here. Maybe another item P2. This item is the 725 power blade. You see this item. So that item is $14, and this is the line price. And if they have bought two items, the item will multiply. This is the line price is 1 unit item. So the actual price of the whole line is this multiplied by the line units. So the questions that you may be asking is, how do you know how many Power Painters has been sold so far in terms of let's say profit, total sales that you have made by selling Power Painter? If you wanted to know this information, yes, you could create a query, or you could create a separate page where you can look this. However, SQL already has inbuilt functions that can do that. So why should we do this in the programming if we can already initiate this stuff in the database itself? So this is one of the scenarios where you could actually go ahead and do such changes. Now, if you are doing this from a framework such as Laravel, for example, you will have to modify your product table. So that would be a migration from a framework point of view. However, that is the only change that is going to do, and you can create the trigger even through frameworks. But here we are not going to relate those two. We are just going to assume that we have this database and work from there. So in this product table, what we would like to do is we would like to create a column here called total sales, where every time a customer buys something, it will actually update this column. If the item has been sold and if it has been sold to the customer, it will come back and generate a line here that says the total sales. So that is an example of a trigger, which means all the time you will be aware of the total sales that is belonging to this specific item when you look at this table without doing extra queries. So such kind of information is useful because it saves the query time and saves the query processing, and it will be faster, and the trigger runs in the background. So let us look at these examples here. This is some of the examples we have done in the classroom when we were going through the shop database. So you have here, for example, a procedure that returns the total items that has been bought, in terms of total sales that you have made from products. Similarly, if you wanted to look for sales that you have made by selling one item, a query may look like this. See, for example, let's try to see how much you have made sales by selling this item, 13Q2P2. So look at here in the line table. If you look at here, line table, 13Q2P2 appears once, twice, thrice, several times. So if you have a query like this, for example, that says select sum of line price multiplied by line units, because it says how many units you sold and how much was the unit price as product total or total sales. Let's say total sales. Let's make it that as a field, for example, in this case as output field from line where P code equal 13Q2P2. So this is an example of a sales. Look at here. So you have actually made $190. How? That is this multiplied by this plus 14 multiplied by 5 plus 14 multiplied by 1. So the whole thing gives you 190.9, basically $120. So $120 had been made in sales by selling this item. So every time a custom item is bought, we would like to automatically come to this product table and update that field. So let us try to do that. Okay. So first thing is we can create a function in order to get that information. In order to get that information. So let's say, for example, this is one of the cases where we have already practiced. However, we will revisit again. Delimiter, you remember these things, what it means. Create a function, get product total, and then you are given the product code here. So you have a function here that says get the total sales from this product by selling this product. I think we will rename this column to get product sales. It makes more sense into product sales. you know. So the function is this way: create function, get product sales, using product code as a variable. It returns float, reads SQL data. That's how the structure looks like. Begin. We have a variable declaration because we would like to declare this variable as a decimal value so that we can put in stuff inside this. And then product sales exist here and here also, so you have to update those things. And then after you select it, if this product is not in the line table, let's say, it would give null. So we have a small if condition that is going to change it to 0 in case if the product is not found in the product table, maybe an item that no one has bought yet. And then and if, because this if is for this condition, return total sales. Let's go ahead and create this function first. So in the exam you should be able to answer these kind of questions without referring anything. So remember, this is the function we have: delimiter, create function, create function, and the same structure that follows: sum of line units from line. Run it. Okay, there you have it. So this is the function. If you remember correctly, in the classroom we have already tested it. So we say, let's try to see if this product has any sales. This product function is different, so you have to remember you use the correct function name. Now if you use this function, for example, and try to select the sales for item 13Q2PT P1, it returns nothing. Yes, shop.product sales does not exist. Select product sales. Shop. Okay. It is assuming that this is a table, but it's a function. Select product sales. That gives you, okay. So the issue here is we are running it through a graphical window. So this window is taking this as a SQL query instead of a function call. Okay, in fact it will actually give you an answer if you use the correct MySQL window. Let me try to move it to MySQL. C WAMP in MySQL in MySQL minus your root. So let's make sure we are in the correct system. Show databases. Yeah, no, this is not the one. So we are running the wrong database here. Quit. Alternatively, you could always run from WAMP. It's easier because it knows exact version of MySQL you're running. Go to console. This is better. Okay, root is the username. Password is this. Show databases. Yeah, there it is. No, we don't see that database there. How is it possible? Okay, no, don't worry. We will try to move on with the previous one. Bin. Sorry. MySQL. Then we will connect again. Show databases. Yeah, we are using this specific version of MySQL. So we were in the shop database and we have these tables here. Sorry about that. Yeah, okay. Now if you run it this way, it's still function shop. does not exist. Is it the same output we are seeing here? Function. Oh, it was saying function, so it should have worked correctly. Product sales doesn't exist. We just created the function. Create function. Get product sales. Oh, sorry. It is get product sales. Yes. So one of the reasons why students may not be able to understand that is because of the mistake. Okay, I apologize for that. So this will work fine. Yeah. Okay. So you can see here it returns 0 because we can say as total sales to make the output a little bit nice, because now you can see the column name is a little ugly. Total sales, yeah, because this item has not been sold, under any invoice. But if we try this product, for example, then we get some sales. You can see here 119.92. so you can see here a function is sometimes useful that way. So basically what we are trying to do here is creating a function and doing a shortcut to receive some SQL output by using this get product sales. Remember, it's not sales product sales, it's get product sales. Product sales is just the name of this variable here. Okay, now you could actually look up those things by using queries. Show function status where db equals shop and name equal get product details. This will give you example of where the table has been created. Get product sales, this function doesn't exist. This is the correct function, we renamed it, remember. Okay, there it is. So in the database you can actually look up the functions by using SQL query show function status where db equals shop and name equal get product sales. We created this function and this is the connectivity we have used, and this is the function name. Okay. Okay, so this is what we were saying in the product table. Right now, look at the product table. One thing you should note is in database terminologies we have product here. The proper way to name table is plural, actually, products, because there are multiple products, but it's okay, it doesn't really matter in this case. So you can see here we don't have any total sales column right now. What we were saying is it will be useful if we can add these values into the total sales field. It doesn't exist in the product table. So here is an example way to modify that. Let's add this alter table product, add column total sales, and if you add now and look up the field, now you can see here that column exists now. So alter table, all these kind of modification queries you should remember. In the exam you should be able to create those things. Now this is where we actually need to come. You see, this is where we need to be. We have here a function called get product detail, get product sales, get product sales. What is the name of the function anyway? Okay, get product sales, because you can see here get product sales is the correct function name. How did it get modified here? So the correct name is get product sales. Again, yes, yeah. We have a small trigger that's created here that is going to do something on this sales column. So in the products table right now, products, you will see here you have a total sales which is null because we just created it as an additional column. We could have given a default value of 0, yes. Anyway, then a separate syntax now because we are creating a trigger. Okay, so this trigger is to update sales after insert. So if you have a new line insert, you have to change this. But what you should also remember is you could create the procedure for a different scenario where edit has been done. Let's say someone has purchased 3 items of the same item. In this case it's not going to be a new insert, it's going to be an update. So after insert is one insert trigger, another trigger you have to create for after update. So two triggers should exist in order to make sure this trigger runs correctly. Yeah. So delimiter, in order to make sure that we write the whole thing, as you remember, if you remember correctly, semicolon is the default delimiter. So this will create a problem. That's why we have changed the delimiter before we begin. Remember these things from previous classes. So this is the structure or the syntax for the trigger, and it says here, create a trigger, update sales after insert. So let us give here a small underscore and add insert this way, so that we know this is an insert trigger. Later on we are going to create an update trigger for this. So create a trigger, then update sales insert is the name of the trigger after someone inserts something on the line. So customer is purchasing something, and then item has been purchased when the item is inserted into the line record. And then for each row on the line, table, because we are going to scan it after someone inserts something new, we will go and check the line and do some editing, one line by line. We'll update the product table that belongs to that specific row, set the total sales equal to, we will use the product code in order to get the amount of money spent on this sales of this specific product code. That is done using the function we have created earlier. So we are actually reusing that function. New.p code means it is a product that doesn't exist in the table, in the line table. So it's going to be a new item that you have just inserted, where product code equal to this new.p code. So this update is done on the product table. Copy. Let's try to execute this. Okay, we'll have this line in between so that we can check later. Okay, our trigger is created, done. So okay, nothing changes, of course, because you see we have to do some editing on the line table. We could have used the web interface, but the database has been changed, so I will not be able to use the Laravel web interface we were using previously on this database, because this is a different database actually I made for this class. So I don't want to get into trouble with that Laravel interface again. Maybe the column names are different even. Okay, so select star from line. You can see here this is the example of stuff that we have bought. We are going to just add one more line into this line table using these items. Another item using 1008 again, line number 4, maybe some other item. Okay, so insert into line values. We have 1008 as invoice number. Let's say this customer is buying some item, 1 2 3 already, so 4 items are there, and the product code, something that doesn't exist in here. For example, let's say this item 5477822T, which in this case belongs to this item, which is null, and the price is $4. This is a string, so we have to pass it into a function like this, into quotes, and then you have here line unit. Of course, in this case these things will be taken in the web interface. You don't have to type them, we are just typing them because we are trying to simulate it. 4.99, and then you have here the last item, which is line price. Line units is actually 1, so 1 and then you have 4.99, which is the last item, so no comma here. And then after you insert this stuff in here, you can check the line output and the product output, you see. So we have actually purchased one more item, and this can be seen here. We have purchased this item, and 54778 on the product table already has some values here, you can see, because this is all the sales you have made so far on that item. You can see here, you have here the same item here, so all the instances has been added up, and then that's why you are getting 34.35. okay, if the function is accurate, it will actually get this data. So what you need to know is, you have this function here, and thus using the function you are trying to get the total sales, and then total sales is updated using this select statement. So both the function can be used in the procedure. That is what we have to cover for this topic and then for this lecture. And since we have already covered some examples of trigger even in the class, this suits, and for you, your task will be in the first session to try to create an update trigger. Because you see here, for example, let's say we have here in the product table 34.99. Let's try to change this entry into 2. So update lines, set line units equal to where invoice number equal to 1008 and line number equal to 4. Line number, you could use PHPMyAdmin and edit that way also. I'm using SQL because it's more technical for you. In this case it will be beneficial that way. 4. Okay, so you have this, and you are setting it to line 2. Okay, query done. See here we have 2 items, but look, this did not update because you have created an insert trigger. An insert trigger works on only new inserts. So your job is to solve this part, to make sure that even updating an existing query solves this problem and recalculates this value. That is what you have to submit as a tutorial in the first session. We have 2 different sessions, and for the next session we will have a separate video, and then we will see you guys after that. Okay, thank you very much for this lecture. That's it.